Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I wanted to get on today and talk about relationship burnout and when it's reached the stage of constant bickering, when you're constantly arguing and in conflict with each other all the time, or at least most of the time. And how damaging is that to a relationship, right? It's like a death by a thousand cuts, right? Just constantly picking at each other or finding ways to disagree. And if you've reached the point in your relationship where you can't even agree on, the sky is blue and grass is green, then um, you know, you might have reached a point of no return. However, there are ways that we can get better at arguing. And arguing is important. It's an important part in a relationship. It's where we can discuss things that are a little bit more challenging, a little bit harder to talk about, where we know that we're probably not likely going to agree on everything. However, we bring so much emotion into these conversations and usually just a lack of skill or resources to actually be able to navigate them in a more healthy and respectful way. So I usually suggest to people, if there's topics that you know are going to be charged and bring up a lot of emotions, that you sort of prepare yourselves ahead of time. And you might even take the time to write down how you're feeling. And I would suggest that you write it out once and then maybe throw that away and then write it out again, because the first time is probably going to be full of um, a lot of unnecessary emotion, or maybe the emotions are unexpected for the situation, right? So maybe they don't line up with the situation, or maybe we need some more, logical, rational mind thinking. So this allows us to have the emotional expression of those feelings, um, and then apply some logic to it and hopefully get to sort of a wise mind space. And things get really interesting when you've got one partner who might be a very logical, linear thinker, and you've got another partner who's an emotional thinker, or feeler rather, trying to sort of find that middle ground. But the beautiful thing is that if you get good at it, you can get to wise mind thinking together, because you're both bringing those attributes that are needed for wise mind um, responses. So in that case, those two sort of opposites would actually come together quite nicely if you develop the skills to really encourage that. So what I would suggest for people, though, is that when you're finding yourself constantly arguing with your spouse or partner, or even just a friend or with your children, any relationship that you're in that's charged with a lot of emotions, or that brings up a lot of stuff that's, contradictory, or that you don't agree on. Consider your triggers. What's being triggered for you? Are you in a place where you're going to be able to have a conversation around something and maybe have rational thinking? And so that could be taking care of your physical needs. We're usually more easily triggered when we're tired or hungry or uncomfortable. Um, so take care of those things. Make sure that you're in the right sort of frame to approach these conversations. And also, what's being triggered for you emotionally? What's coming up for you? Digging a little bit below that maybe first emotion that pops into your head, and maybe just doing some inquiry as to what's below that, what's deeper than that. I'm angry you did this, you didn't do that. Because below that is, when you did do this, when you did that, it made me feel. And so that's really what we want to get at, what we want to actually talk about. So, knowing your triggers, understanding what's being actually triggered for you, and then learning to communicate in ways that invite curiosity. So approaching your partner in a way that would be, you know, more curious. So you might say, that's interesting. How did you come to that way of thinking? Or how did you, come up with that? You know what I, and not in a snarky way, and not in a, how did you come up with that kind of scenario, but just in a way like, oh, how did you come up with that? Because I think differently or feel differently about the situation. So I'm wondering what made you feel that way. And you can, that opens up some more kinds of communication. It feels less combative, and the person is less likely to become reactive and defensive when we approach it in that way. That's a skill that you can bring to the table. And then also learning how to negotiate, learning how to compromise. I mean, you're in a relationship with someone else, where you're having to, share space, maybe you're sharing parenting duties, maybe you're in a business relationship with someone, maybe, you're trying to negotiate with your children. And I do feel that you try to negotiate with your children as opposed to just saying, this is my way, highway, because I think that really strengthens the relationship when you get better at negotiating. So you can, I feel that this is important, that we do it this way, or that, expect things from you, and allow them to say, well, I don't feel that that's entirely fair. I am capable of things, and then negotiate. And so that builds trust, builds connection and safety within a relationship, that the other person is allowed to say, I don't agree with you. I feel this way about it. And then you can, oh, interesting. I never thought of it that way. How did you come to that conclusion? Right? It's a little bit more involving than, I feel this way and you should too. Because it's not going to get very far. So just something to consider if you feel like you're fighting. Really take 2 to have arguments. Do the work on yourself, be less reactive to, your triggers, to know how to manage those triggers, understand what's coming for you beneath immediate triggers that seem obvious. Also develop a skill to approach the other person with respect and gentle inquiry. And on that, recognize that we're all to have differences in views, and might feel strongly that the other person is wrong, and that's okay. As we're respectful with each other, we don't have to agree on everything. You find that disagreeing really fundamental things and things are important to you and your values and your morals, then different scenario, right? People can coexist in relationships where they have cultural beliefs and different beliefs, still have a thriving respect relationship, healthy communication. Just how we approach these things and how much respect we give the other person's views, even if we don't right. And yes, I wanted to share with you. It's really us, because we're one half of the relationship, our partner, to do the work ourselves can do. At least allow for one person to be able to say, feeling trapped. This is coming up. And I think we really need to take a break, the corners of it. And someone needs to be that. If you can, it keeps the people going. And really, if you're listening to me now and a hard time in your relationship, then understand it's you to do work. And that people say, well, no, doing the work. And of course, you should be doing it too. However, you cannot expect you change yourself. You can get that thing that you need. And then from there, knows you looks like able to self-regulate. Maybe you what it looks to be curious and respectful, and then because they feel allows them to be, mirror going on. So we get other people around us, really first. So hopefully it's helpful, and you need some inquiry, your own healing. Please feel free to reach out. We can do chat with the owners. I always do the camera on, like if you just do, pajama hair up, that in free content, figure out your two best energies, feeling. So I have a fantastic day, and